Here's a question that sounds simple but might take you a while to answer. What gets you out of bed in the morning? Not your alarm, not work, not obligation. What genuinely pulls you forward? The thing you do even if no one paid you, even if no one noticed, even if you were already comfortable. The Japanese have a word for that thing. They call it Ikigai. And according to the people who live longer than anyone else on Earth, finding it might be the single most important thing you ever do. This is Ikigai, the Japanese secret to a long and happy life by Hector Garcia and Francesc Miralles. Over 5 million copies sold, 57 languages, and a book that began not in a conference room or a laboratory, but in a tiny bar in Tokyo, over a conversation between two friends about what makes life worth living. Hector Garcia is a Spanish engineer who moved to Tokyo after working at CERN in Switzerland and has lived in Japan for over 18 years. Francesc Miralles is a Barcelona-based author who writes about health, spirit, and meaning. They had been reading each other's work for years before they finally met. And when they did, they kept coming back to one question: why do Japanese people, and specifically the people of one tiny island in southern Japan, live so much longer than the rest of the world? They decided to go find out. They traveled to OGIMI, a village of 3,000 people on the north end of Okinawa Island, nicknamed the Village of Longevity, and sat down with the oldest, happiest people on the planet to ask them directly, "What's your secret?" The answer wasn't a single thing. It was a way of being. Let's start with the word itself. Ikigai is written in Japanese as two characters, Iki, meaning life or alive, and Kai, meaning worth, effect, or result. Together, they translate roughly as that which makes life worth living. The authors offer a simpler translation, the happiness of always being busy. But that's not quite it either. Ikigai is not being busy for busy's sake. It is the specific thing, often something small, often something quiet, that gives you a reason to get out of bed. The grandmother who tends her vegetable garden every morning at 5. The retired schoolteacher who still tutors neighborhood children. The chef who has been making sushi for 60 years and still shows up with joy. According to the Japanese, everyone has an ikigai. Most people, however, have buried theirs under decades of obligation, expectation, and distraction. This book is about excavating it. You've probably seen the diagram. 4 overlapping circles. What you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. At the center, where all 4 overlap, that's Ikigai. The 4 elements map to 4 concepts. Passion, doing what you love. Mission, giving what the world needs. Vocation, working with what you're skilled at. Profession, earning from what you do. But Garcia and Miralles make an important point. In Okinawa, Ikigai doesn't have to be a career. It doesn't have to generate income at all. The elderly woman who organizes her community's morning exercises isn't being paid. The man who maintains a beautiful garden isn't selling the vegetables. Their ikigai is the doing itself, the contribution, the mastery, the joy of being useful. If the 4-circle model feels too commercial, try this simpler version. What do you love doing that also benefits the people around you? That's close enough to start. Why Okinawa? Because the numbers are extraordinary. On this island in the southern tip of Japan, 24.55 out of every 100,000 people live past the age of 100. That is far higher than anywhere else in the world. Okinawan women in particular live longer, with fewer chronic illnesses, than women anywhere else on Earth. And in Ogimi, the northernmost village, the concentration of centenarians is even higher. Researchers have been studying this village for decades. What they find, beyond diet, beyond climate, beyond green tea, is ikigai. One surprising detail: there is no word in Japanese for retirement in the sense we use it in English. No concept of leaving the workforce for good. People simply keep doing what they love, with whatever energy they have, for as long as they're alive. Okinawa is not the only place with extraordinary longevity. National Geographic reporter Dan Buettner identified 5 regions around the world where people consistently live past 100 in remarkable numbers. He called them blue zones. Okinawa leads the list. Sardinia in Italy is second. Loma Linda in California is third, home to a community of Seventh-day Adventists. The Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica is fourth. And Ikigai in Greece, where 1 in 3 residents is over 90, rounds out the 5. What do they share? Every blue zone community has strong social bonds, a clear sense of purpose, daily low-intensity movement, a mostly plant-based diet, and the habit of stopping before they're completely full. And all of them, in different ways, have their version of Ikigai. Before finding Ikigai, the authors explore what actually ages us, because understanding the enemy helps. The first culprit is mental stagnation. Our neurons begin to age in our 20s, but intellectual activity, curiosity, and the willingness to keep learning slow that process dramatically. New experiences create new neural connections. Familiarity and routine accelerate decline. As neuroscientist Shlomo Bresnitz puts it, the brain doesn't need to think when it's on autopilot, and when it stops thinking, it starts aging. The second and more dangerous culprit is chronic stress. Studies show that sustained cortisol, the stress hormone, damages the telomeres that protect our cells, accelerating aging at the biological level. The problem is that modern humans experience constant low-level threat. Every notification, every email, every performance review triggers a mild version of the survival response that cave dwellers reserved for predators. We are, biochemically speaking, always slightly terrified. And it is wearing us out. Here the book draws on one of the most profound thinkers of the 20th century, Viktor Frankl. Frankl was a psychiatrist who survived the Nazi concentration camps and emerged with a complete theory of human motivation. What drives us most deeply is not pleasure, not power, but meaning. He called his therapeutic method logotherapy. His most famous insight is a phrase borrowed from Nietzsche: "He who has a why can bear almost any how." In the camps, Frankl observed that the prisoners with the greatest chance of survival were those who had something to live for, a manuscript to complete, a person to return to, a purpose that existed beyond the immediate horror. He translated this into a therapeutic practice: help patients discover their purpose, and the anxieties, emptiness, and depression that come with purposelessness begin to resolve on their own. Not because the problems disappear, but because the person is now bigger than the problems. This, the authors argue, is the psychological foundation of Ikigai. Running parallel to logotherapy, and almost unknown in the West, is MORITA therapy, developed by Japanese psychiatrist Shoma MORITA in the same era. Where Western therapies often focus on understanding or controlling emotions, MORITA therapy takes a radically different approach: accept the emotions completely, and change the behavior anyway. The central metaphor is a donkey tied to a post. The more the donkey struggles against the rope, the more exhausted and trapped it becomes. Resistance to feelings creates suffering. Acceptance creates freedom. MORITA compared emotions to weather. You cannot control whether it rains, but you can decide to go outside anyway, umbrella in hand. The feelings will pass. Action creates change, not waiting for the feelings to become comfortable first. His mantra: what do I need to be doing right now? Not what do I need to feel first. What is the next right action? This is MORITA therapy in its simplest form, and it is remarkably close to what the Okinawan centenarians do every single day. Now we arrive at one of the book's most energizing chapters, the concept of flow. Psychologist Miralles and Hector spent his career studying the moments when people report feeling most alive, most creative, and most deeply satisfied. What he found was a state he called flow, complete immersion in an activity, to the point where time dissolves and self-consciousness disappears. You felt it. Hours in a book that seemed like minutes. A creative project that consumed you completely. A conversation so alive that you forgot to check your phone. That, Francesc Miralles says, is where genuine happiness lives. Not in comfort, not in ease, in total engagement. And the extraordinary thing is that flow is available to anyone in almost any activity, as long as the conditions are right. The key condition for flow is the balance between challenge and skill. If a task is too easy for your current abilities, you get bored. If it's too hard, you get anxious. But if it's just slightly harder than what you've done before, requiring you to stretch, to focus, to push, flow becomes possible. Researcher Owen Schaefer identified 7 requirements. You need to know what you're doing, know how to do it, know how well you're doing, have a clear goal, face a significant challenge, draw on significant skill, and be free from distraction. That last one, freedom from distraction, is increasingly precious. Multitasking, the authors note, reduces productivity by 60%, increases mistakes, and makes flow virtually impossible. The focused mind is both rarer and more powerful than ever. The authors offer a beautiful reframe. Instead of chasing goals, focus on rituals. The happiest people aren't the highest achievers. They're the ones who spend the most time in flow. Garcia and Miralles also spoke with some of the oldest people on record. What they found was both surprising and oddly comforting. Misao Okawa, who lived to 117, said her secret was simply eating sushi and sleeping. When pressed for more, she smiled and said, "I ask myself the same question." Jean Calment, the oldest person in verified history at 122, rode a bicycle until she was 100 and stopped smoking only at 120, when her cataracts made it hard to find her lips. Her verdict on life: everything's fine. Walter Brenning, at 114, if you keep your mind and body busy, you'll be around a long time. And then there are the Takumi masters, Japanese artisans who dedicate their entire lives to one craft. A paintbrush maker, a ceramicist, a sushi chef. Hayao Miyazaki, the legendary animation director, retired and returned to his desk the very next day. As someone reportedly told him, "This is how you'll die, at your drawing table." He seemed to consider this an ideal outcome. The author's visit to OGIMI is one of the book's warmest sections. They arrive to find a community where an 88-year-old still drives and a 99-year-old rides alongside her. Where residents wake early, tend their gardens, and spend their afternoons playing gateball and singing karaoke with neighbors. Where no one sits idle, and everyone has a role. The Moai, Japan's traditional mutual support groups, are alive and well in OGIMI. These informal communities of people with shared interests look out for each other financially and emotionally across decades of life. Being part of a Moai provides what loneliness researchers increasingly identify as the most important health factor of all: the felt sense of belonging. One resident summed up her longevity philosophy simply: food is the least important thing. The secret is smiling and having a good time. The diet chapter is full of specific, actionable wisdom, but it all flows from one ancient principle. Hara Hachi Bu, fill your belly to 80%. Stop eating when you're almost full. Okinawans consume, on average, 1,785 calories a day, significantly less than Western counterparts, and their rate of heart disease and cancer is among the lowest in the world. Their diet is rich in vegetables, 11 ounces daily, tofu, sweet potatoes, and fish 3 times a week. They eat an extraordinary variety, an average of 18 different foods per day, 206 different foods over the course of a month. The centenarians of Okinawa also drink sanpin cha, a jasmine green tea, 3 cups a day. Rich in antioxidants, it supports heart health, immune function, and cholesterol levels. And the local citrus, shikuwaza, contains 40 times the nobiletin of ordinary oranges, a powerful anti-inflammatory and anti-cancer compound. The Blue Zone research is clear on one thing: the longest living people are not gym enthusiasts. They are the people who never stop moving, walking instead of driving, gardening every morning, doing Radio Taiso, Japan's 5-minute national morning warm-up broadcast, before breakfast, practicing Tai Chi or Qigong in the afternoon, moving the body gently, consistently, and joyfully across a lifetime. Studies show that sitting for 30 minutes slows metabolism by 90%. The enzymes that burn fat slow down. The simple act of standing up for 5 minutes every half hour makes a measurable difference. The Okinawan lifestyle is engineered, without anyone ever thinking of it as exercise, to keep the body in motion from morning to night. The final chapters deal with how to face the inevitable: setbacks, loss, the passage of time. The Japanese have a proverb, "Nana karobi yaoki," fall 7 times, rise 8. Resilience is not about never falling. It is about the inevitability of rising. Buddhism and Stoicism, the authors show, converge on the same insight. Suffering comes from resistance to what is. The Stoics practiced negative visualization, imagining the worst that could happen, in order to appreciate what they had and to stop fearing what they couldn't control. And then there is WABI-SABI, the Japanese philosophy of beauty in imperfection and impermanence. A cracked tea bowl repaired with gold. A garden that changes with the seasons. A life that does not pretend to be permanent, but is richer for acknowledging that it is not. Ichigo Ichi-e. This moment will never come again. Inhabit it fully. The philosopher Nassim Taleb introduced a concept that goes one step beyond resilience, and it may be the most useful idea in the entire book. We all understand fragile. A glass dropped on tile. A plan destroyed by one bad variable. Fragile things break under pressure. We admire resilience. The ability to survive a blow and return to where you were. But Taleb says there is a third category, one that most people never consider. He calls it anti-fragile. Things that don't just survive stress. They get stronger from it. Think of the Hydra from Greek mythology. Cut off one head and 2 grow back. The very act of attacking it makes it more powerful. Garcia and Miralles argue that Ikigai works the same way. Every setback, properly processed, becomes data. Every difficulty, honestly faced, becomes the raw material for a more refined sense of purpose. But anti-fragility doesn't happen automatically. The authors suggest 3 deliberate steps. First, build redundancies. Don't depend on a single income stream, a single friendship, a single source of meaning. Diversify your life the way a wise investor diversifies a portfolio. Second, take small, calculated risks in some areas while staying conservative in others. Growth lives at the edge of your comfort zone, not over the cliff. Third, identify and remove the things that make you fragile. The relationships that drain you, the habits that compromise your health or clarity, the dependencies that leave you one event away from collapse. Strip those away, and what remains is something that cannot easily be broken. So how do you actually find yours? The author's answer is both reassuring and challenging. Your Ikigai is not somewhere out there, waiting to be discovered. It is already inside you. The search itself, the paying attention, the noticing, the honest questioning, is the practice. Start with curiosity. What do you do that makes time disappear? Not what you think you should love. Not what looks impressive from the outside. What genuinely absorbs you. The thing you'd keep doing even if no one was watching. Write those things down. Look for the patterns. What do they have in common? That overlap is where your Ikigai begins to show itself. And don't worry if it changes. Ikigai is not a tattoo. It can evolve as you do, across careers, across decades, across entirely different versions of who you are. The retired engineer who discovers pottery at 65. The mother whose Ikigai shifts from raising children to mentoring others. All of it counts. It also doesn't have to be grand. The authors are clear on this point. Being a genuinely kind neighbor is an Ikigai. Raising a child with care and attention is an Ikigai. Mastering one small craft over a lifetime is an Ikigai. The scale is irrelevant. The authenticity is everything. Garcia and Miralles close with a line that is worth sitting with. Life is not a problem to be solved. Just remember to have something that keeps you busy doing what you love, while being surrounded by the people who love you. That's the whole secret, quietly hidden in plain sight. The 10 rules the authors distilled from the oldest people in OGIMI are not complicated. Stay active. Take it slow. Don't overfill your stomach. Surround yourself with good people. Keep your body moving. Smile. Spend time in nature. Give thanks. Live in the moment. And follow your Ikigai. That last one is the hardest and the most important, because your Ikigai is not waiting to be discovered in a book or a workshop or a career assessment. It's already in you. It shows itself in the moments when time disappears, when effort becomes joy, when you are so absorbed in what you're doing that you forget to be anxious about anything else. Start paying attention to those moments. They are the trail. Life is not a problem to be solved, the authors write at the end. Just remember to have something that keeps you busy doing what you love, while being surrounded by the people who love you. That's it. That's the secret. It's been hiding in plain sight all along. If this summary gave you something, please like and subscribe, and share it with someone who's been asking what the point of all this is. The full book is short, warm, and beautifully written. Pick it up. See you next time.